gotta clean my alternator up. Stator. Those look like 2 grounds. Field. Battery. I also have pictures of how this fits. But I want to pull this off so that I can put my double sheave on. The sun is sinking low, but I might as well get the alternator bracket on. Alright, I gotta go down and look at my pictures to see how the dog sets in there. But I believe she just goes here just like that, yeah. And that's all there am to it. There's that spacer that goes in the back. I guess I probably don't need any instructions for this. I can possibly see exactly everything I got here. The big 7/16 goes through the front. Spacer goes on the back. Oh, yeah, I gotta go through all the stuff first. Don't drop it. And then this guy. Like that. I'm guessing this guy, unfortunately, is going to go over there. I'm going to put him under here. So what did we get done today? It doesn't look like a whole bunch, but we did. We got the transmission filled and topped off, so that's ready to go. We got the fuel pump connected and the lines connected. We have to connect the control wiring, which will come off from that relay over there and power the pump. Got the alternator started, got the heater hoses hooked up, got the valve covers on. So we did a lot. I've got to get a 90-degree fitting for this so that that doesn't run into the valve cover, but I'll just have to back that out and get a 90 for it, or a 45. If I could get a 45, that'd be really great. We got the coil on, got the coil wired, got the sensors wired, they're tightened. They're tightened. That's, I don't know if I tightened that up in the back. I think I did. Did I tighten this? Yes, that's tight. Okay. So that sensor, those are water temperature sensors. I've got 2 gauges. This is for the original gauge in the dash, which doesn't really show too much. So I've got this one in the back that hooks up to my other little triple gauge set. So, boy, we're coming right along. I mean, after I get the alternator on, the radiator and crap goes in, and the carburetor, and we're all set to go. I just got to get that fuel line 90 fixed. Alright guys, that's what we did today. Well guys, I've been doing a lot of stuff today. I got the generator, or the alternator all in and wired. So now I'm putting the lower pulley on. Right off the main crankshaft pulley. And I am going to put a little blue Loctite on these dudes. This was the trim that they said they were waiting for. Well, it's just a nice angle. I mean, it's... Okay. hard to see, guys. But I think that's about right. Alright, 2 started. That'll guide me through for sure. Now these are big, beautiful Allen head bolts. You'll never see them. They're going to be down behind the engine. How does that line up with the sheave on that? Oh, just perfect. By the way, the grooves and pulleys are called sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves, bring. Sorry, I don't want to, you know, copyright hit or nothing. There's my rat shit. Chair. You know how you set something down and you turn around and you turn back around and it's gone? I love it. There it is right there, Doc. I think I might put the little tool on this and just give it a couple of hammers. Because I can't, because the engine wants to spin. The bottom sheave is on. I think we're going to put the bottom hose on the radiator. But if you look right down there over the top of that bracket, there's the inlet. Sure looks like it goes just like that, don't it? Probably should have put it on before I put the stupid water pump on. Come on, baby. There we go. Oh, that soap really helped. Yep, she goes just like that. And up onto the radiator like so. Shroud in here because I was checking the fit. Bop bop dee dee. Da 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 da. Oh, come on. There we go. I know, my arm's always in the way, isn't it? There we go. Car's work is always never fun because you scratch your arms, your elbows, everything's rubbing against this and that and the other thing. That should be plenty tight. That hose has a spring in it, so when the water pump pulls, it doesn't suck it dry, you know. But there you go, we got the bottom pulley on double sheave. I put a double sheave pulley on the alternator so that I've got basically 2 belts running all the time, which will be the smart way to do it. And that way I'll have 2 belts running all the time, almost like I got backup all the time. Alright, so what am I going to do next? I'm going to put the fan on next. Well, I'm going to have to put you aside here. Okay, so the fan goes on next, and I'm going to I really need to pre-clean these bolt threads a little bit. There's a brush over here. And, yep, a little Loctite. I'm going to pre-Loctite them all so I don't have to deal with it in the middle of the process. Go get me another tube of glue. Alright, so this is a complicated thing because the pulley goes on this way, which it does line up in the middle, which makes that a little easier. Let me see if I can line up a hole. Well, the pump's turning. I'm going to line one right up at the top. Okay. This is definitely the OEM fan. So now those long bolts need to start in the front. I need to So, I've got a fan shroud mounting kit with new bolts and a radiator mounting kit with new bolts and cap nuts, captive nuts. And so, they should go together much better. I'm going to get this fuel pump wire harness out of the way right now. I need to do a little more research on that, how I'm going to set that up. So, basically, guys just pop in like so, and I'm going to pull the old ones out and put the new ones in. Will I save the old ones? Well, maybe, because you know, I'm just kind of like that. They don't come out easy, I'll tell you that. They were stuck in there good. They just snap in. They're just a little clippy thing with threads in it and little barbs that kind of hold it in position. This radiator's attacking me. Of course it is. That's what I do. Just give her a fist bump. It's always good to do new, isn't it? This guy's facing uphill. You bend them open a little bit and they come right off. There it goes. Okay, so they're popping so they're kind of loosey-goosey, you know you got it good. Puncture your radiator. Radiator. I see the holes. What do I want to say? Complex system here. It's just cap nuts, captive nuts, and the radiator. No bumpers on the bottom or none of that crap. You know. Get them all started. You can see from the front. There we go. They don't make them like they used to, you know. You put that stupid little lever on the top of these ratchets right where you want to put your thumb. There's enough friction on these, ain't going nowhere. Okay, radiator is in. Woohoo! Now this is a triple row, even though it just kind of looks standard. And now I've got the same kind of clips that have to go on for this guy. Yeah, while I'm down here, I may as well put my radiator hose on. You hose. Alright, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to put it so the screw's right there. Well, this ain't no fun. The hose mouth doesn't want to open up and go into the hose. So I'm going to put that right there. Alright. Bottom hose is on. I'm still trying to figure out the electric to the electric fuel pump. You're supposed to put a oil pressure switch in so that if the engine isn't running, the fuel pump doesn't run, so therefore you don't get, if you get in a crash or you get a bad leak, it just doesn't continue to spray oil, fuel all over the car and ground and start a big fire, burn you up. Well, I don't see any reason I can't put the top radiator hose on. Hopefully it's not too long. I heard some people say you did have to trim it. It does look awfully long. Not loving it. I think that one wants to go on here. And that one just needs to be cut. Right there. So I'm going to take it out to the bandsaw like I did on the other one. Because that's going to want to come in like that. Maybe I'll cut a little bit off this one first. Back that up a little bit. Or actually, I got the old hoses I could copy too. Alright, I slipped that upper radiator hose on, took it out to the barn, and I nipped her off a little bit. It is what it is. Alright guys and gals, we've been doing a lot of work here today. And I haven't been doing a lot of filming because I just want to get this done. I wanted to get it done today, but I can't. I got my relay mounted over here for the fuel pump and wired in. And there's the feed to it. It goes to a circuit breaker right there. These other wires are feeds for other items that I've added to the car over the years. I did get the wiring harnesses taped together so they're not just loose wires hanging all over. This one looks kind of weird because it's stretched kind of tight, but if I could lengthen this red and white wire, which I might do, I think I'm going to do that. See if I can find a piece of white wire and add it in that harness. Well, I gotta look for that nut. Good golly, Miss Molly, we found it. Alright, that little fix is in. Time to put some coolant in her. And I'm going to do that via a big funnel so I don't slop it all over. Clean the funnel out a little bit. Alright. I bought Peak, that's what I've been seeing everybody else use, so. This is the concentrate, so it's 50-50 with water. So I'll put a gallon of this in. And a gallon of water, and so on and so forth. I may have mentioned this before, this is a triple row radiator. I just put a gallon of antifreeze in, and half a gallon of water so far. It's gurgling and glugging. When that settles down, I'll start adding more. I know it's got to take 2 gallons. Okay, I had the belts that I bought were too short or too long, so I went over and bought one that's an inch shorter, 2 inches shorter, and we'll see if we can get this guy to fit. Oh yeah, that's much better. That's perfect. I still got a little bit of a give there, so I gotta have something to pry on that with. A hammer handle? Is that the right size bowl? Ratchet? Yep. Alright. Nice and tight. Is that German? A torque you on that. Okay, we got one belt on, and that'll run everything just fine. Water is going in slow. It's got to seep back into the heat. The heat goes uphill here, so I don't know. It cost as much for a gallon of premix as it did for a gallon of concentrate. So you figure that one out. So I'm going to mix it. I've got a half a gallon of water here now. I'm going to mix that with half a gallon of the antifreeze. So I've got mixed. Whoop, she comes. A little bit straining into my overflow tank over here. Got the new plumbing in for the, I needed to put something different in for the fuel regulator because it was running into, this, so I went over to the auto store and they had a 45-degree angle turn there, which is perfect. Just angled this out over here to go to the carburetor. So I'm going to have to lift that out and move the rotor to cylinder 1, which is over here. I'm sure it wasn't on the front. If you look at the way these wires are run, I set them up to run this way down here. So I am still on TDC here. I think I can turn this. Oh no, I can't. I can turn it with this though. I'm pretty sure I'm on the compression spool. So I'm going to turn that back to TDC. There. So I got to raise the distributor out and get it to face number 1, which is way over here. So I'm going to make an index mark somehow. It's got to point right at that bolt. So that's easy enough to do. Just grab my 1/2 inch. I do have a distributor wrench around here somewhere, but all you really need is a 1/2 inch. On this car, it's pretty accessible. So I'm just statically timing it basically by eyeball here. And that's just about right there, I think. Oh, I got it wrong. There it is. It's almost pointing at it. I don't know why that goes in there so hard. Is it the... the top of the oil pump drive that I'm missing? Let me get my oil pump drive tool again. We'll just turn it a smidge. I think this is supposed to be dead ahead like this, see? Pretty much. Oops, don't drop that down in there. That would be a disaster. Wouldn't it? Come on, clickety click, get in. There. Yes, I've got it. There we go. I think that's it. Because it's rotating this way. And we can move this that much. And of course I got these guys all lined up linearly, so I shouldn't have to readjust anything. I'm just going to put that guy right there. That guy go here. That guy over there. Sure looks like how they reach. Don't it? Donut? Alright, so now, oh, I don't have my spark plugs in. That's another thing I got to do. Alright, just FYI guys, I just put a rebuild kit in this Holly car, or this Edelbrock car. Took it all apart, cleaned it all out. It was very clean. I probably didn't need rebuilding. But I went through, it's got new gaskets, it's got new needle valves and all that different stuff, moving parts that might wear. And cleaned it out. So it's ready to go on. And I just didn't film it because I was just watching another guy. I think his name is Kyle Smith. There's a sponsored on how to rebuild an Edelbrock carburetor right on YouTube. Step by step, screw by screw, gasket by gasket. He walks you through the whole thing, even cleaning. So makes it ultra simple. I just paused it at every step as I accomplished it, and so I'm not gonna take any credit for that. But she's cleaned out. This is just a little 500 CFM, but from according to my calculations, I think it's plenty enough for how we're going to drive this car. All right, guys, I got to play a gig tonight, so I got to get ready to go. Thanks for watching. All right, guys and gals. The distributor is in. It's roughly timed. Should start this condition. I don't know. I'll have to put the timing light on it. Fuel line is ran over there. I draw a vacuum line for the booster for the brakes and PCV valve. So before I go any farther, I got to put the spark plugs in so I can hook the spark plug wires up. Now the spark plugs, when they go into an aluminum head, they've all been gapped. Yeah, I got to anti-seize them. So I'm going to anti-seize them all up ahead of time, lay them in the tray, and then we'll go stick them all in. Okay, so I got the spark plug started on the holes, in all to the holes on the driver's side here. Now remember, guys, you're not reefing down a 1/2-inch bolt. You just want these snug, literally. So I just have a short 3/8 on here, and I just give her, I can feel the crush washer crushing. And that's it. It's aluminum head. No way in hell do we want to overstress that. Now I had to change the plugs from the standard 302 plugs to the recommended plug for the AFR heads, because the depth of the aluminum stuff is probably different. And the spark plugs I used in this 347 are Autolite. Autolite 3924. Okay, for this application. Now I should be able to just loom my wires right back the way they're supposed to be. Now I wonder if I should put some lube on these. Alright, I'm getting these boots on here. Little Seal Glide. Let's see what I'm doing. Find the end of the plug. There it is. This is the Plugs are in. Wires are wired. Top dead center has been found. How I did that is when I put the crank back on, wrench back on the crankshaft nut and backed it up from what I thought was top dead center. Put my finger on the spark plug hole for number 1, cranked, and I got a lot of compression. So I know the valves are closed, coming on the compression stroke, which is TDC for number 1. So that should be an easy way to locate top dead center. And now, time to put the carb on. And I need to get this fuel line up and out of the way. I was just going to wait and cut that till I get the carb on. And the vacuum line, vacuum. You got to be really careful now when you get your manifold exposed. You don't want to drop nothing. Nothing, no how. I guess this is what you call a dual plane, because if you look down into those holes, you'll see there's actually a separation between the left side and the right side. Some carbs, there's no wall in the middle and it distributes evenly to each side of the manifold. Is that good or bad? I don't know, but I'm cleaning off the glue residue from the tape. Also any paint. I'm trying to decide whether to put oil on there. A lot of guys oil them. So your gasket will come with. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to oil the gasket surface here. When I was a kid, whenever I tore my lawnmower or my mini bike or something like that apart, I always put oil on all the gaskets. I thought it helped it, like, fill any tiny air gaps kind of thing. And the next thing I want to do is add my studs. I have studs for this. And I'm going to put blue Loctite on them. Now I got to be really careful putting these in. Now I'm not putting a spacer on this yet. Right now, may happen later, but for right now I need these shorter studs. Short studs. I want the studs to stay in the manifold when I take it apart so that I know don't leave the other ones in your hand when you reach over the top. Okay, so we're back. Let's put the gasket on. That was another UPS delivery. Oops. Should I say oops? Car gasket. As Derek says, the fuel make it happener. There she is. And again, You don't have to mash this to death when you tighten up the bolts. I'm just going to do a little wrist torque here with a 1/2 inch wrench. Got this wiring to deal with. I got my return spring to deal with. Well, let me put the studs on first before I deal with that. These are just lock washers, star nuts, star washers, and nuts. He had a show all, it was always Stooges, all Stooges all the time. All right, everything seems to fit okay. Got to figure out the best way to run my fuel line. I do have a metal line for it that comes out to the front under here, but I don't have the right stuff to hook up to it. So for right now, we're just winging it. Vacuum line's hooked up here. Vacuum power booster for the brakes. And you know, you don't have to do that to hose clamps either. You don't need to tighten them until you're squeezing the rubber back out through the grooves, you know, guys. Just snug. I don't think this needs a clamp on it anyway, because it's pretty tight as it is. Alright, power booster line. PCV. Positive crankcase ventilation is what that stands for, in case you didn't know. Not PVC. PVC is plastic. But you got to put it in there to make sure you've got all your possible vacuum leaks plugged up. Okay, so that sucks on the PCV valve over there. Let's see. Vacuum's hooked up, vacuum advance. Boy, guys. I think we're just about ready. to try to do a zoom test. I got coolant, I pre-charged it. I got to get the fuel line here figured out. How we want to run this. Now last time I ran it in and under. Right down that little valley under the carb. I might want to make like a loop up like that. What do you think? I think that's a win. Okay, let me get my razor blade and a new clamp. That's a 3/8 line, so that should be an easy plate. We are so close. We are close to a zoom test. Careful not to slash myself. That would suck. That's a tough freaking fuel line, I'll tell you that. Wow. I think it's that stuff called Evil. Of course, my glasses are fogging up from the stress. Alright. Whew. Oofda. It's not really hot today, but the humidity has been absolutely brutal. You guys can have your hot and humid places. I'm good with this. Look at that. I think that's perfect. Looks like it runs in a safe place. The manifold doesn't get extremely hot. Anyway. Oh, I didn't tighten that up either. Okay. Heads up. Half-inch wrench. I gotta find a 1/2-inch thin wall deep socket. Alright. Let's give these guys a little crank. I'm just giving like a 1/4 turn on each one of these, till I'm happy with how tight they feel. More than that. What's that, darling? Oh yeah, you want to see how cool it is? Alright guys, this is it. The carburetor's on. I've got preliminary timing set. I want to turn on the key and see if I get fuel pressure. So we want to listen for the clickety-clack and see if we get fuel pressure. Oh yeah. I got 5.5 pounds of pressure. So she sucks just fine. But we got accelerator pumps. No. Maybe she's still filling the bowls. I've not seen no squirt. Am I flooding it? You should be seeing squirts. I don't smell no fuel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fuel line off and purge it.
That's what you wanted to do.
Huh? The brakes again, I know.
No,
Clutch. I must not be getting fuel yet. You can just turn the key on and off, that's all you gotta do. Alright, turn the key on. Just don't start it, just till the click. You hear the clickety clack. One more. Oh, here she comes up and turn it off. Okay, turn it back on. Just a little chatter pump. I can't believe the floats would be stuck, but I guess they could be. Yeah, floats were stuck. You hear a change?
Yeah.
There she goes. Huh? No, you want to try to start it? Yeah, we just had to, let me see what I got for pressure here. I got to take that up to a little more. Well, boys and girls, she's running. First couple of minutes of her life. The water is starting to steam a little bit. 100 RPMs right now. And listen to it. She's running a little fat, I think, but that's all right. Better fat than lean. She's just got to break in, so we're gonna let her run for a while. Let her get hot. Make sure the radiator starts blowing. I probably should turn on the heat. Oh yeah, I got heat out of the heater core.